everybody, and thanks for joining me. Today we're going to be creating a character and anima for use in the tabletop RPG Overarms. The character that we're actually creating today is directly from the book. They are from the scenario Strange Academy that is coming out along with the book thanks to all of you from Kickstarter. So, let's get right into it. Our character and anima are level 1. Our character name is Joseph. We have named the anima Bad Boy. The anima type is a Guardian, which is going to be more defense-oriented than the other 3 types that you can choose, which are Fighter, Magician, and Assassin. And now that we have all of this information completed, we can go down here to Abilities. And here in Abilities, we can see that the anima is able to conceal itself and the user within the graffiti on walls and move through them at an increased speed while remaining undetected. Since this is the first ability for level 1, that's absolutely fine. It's a very relaxed ability that allows for a lot of movement and can actually be a little bit combat-oriented depending on how you use this ability. You can also fill out your second and third ability from the get-go of the game and check those with your GM, or you can add those in as you level up. There's really no requirement. The only requirement we have is that for each ability, you have to fill them in consecutively, meaning that the first ability needs to go in the first slot, second ability in the second slot, and third ability in the third slot. Moving on, we have our Virtue, Vice, and Drive. Joseph's virtue is that he's loyal to his friends. His vice is that he's a lawbreaker, and his drive is his teenage angst. We won't cover bio and appearance today. These are all essentially role play purposes to describe to other players their background, their appearance, and then inventory. Since we're level 1, we won't have any kind of like items or relics on our character at this point. We've also filled out the status and money here. In the book, there are 3 statuses you can pick from: poverty, middle class, and rich. These allow you to earn a certain amount of money or allow you to collect money at the end of every day or every week, however you have laid out your campaign. And it's very straightforward as far as how much money you earn, how you earn it, and the requirements for that. So we'll be moving on to the harder part, but is actually pretty simple. We'll be making our character and slotting these values in, and then we will move on to making our anima and slotting these values in. And you can see from my display here that I've already gone ahead and created this character. So when you're making a character or making an anima, you do one simple process. You take a D4, a D6, a D8, a D10, and a D12, and you start slotting those in to the stats that you want your character to have, which allows them to perform in certain ways. And it's always super important to take into consideration your anima type. Guardian focuses on strength and defense, so we're going to want our character's strength to be pretty high, and we're going to want our anima's defense to be pretty high. So that way when we are trying to make accuracy or damage checks, that we are rolling high numbers with those. So to start off, we can see that we have a D4 in intelligence, a D6 in charisma, a D8 in strength, a D10 in dexterity, and a D12 in HP. And HP stands out amongst the rest of these stats because anything that goes in HP is immediately doubled, since HP won't be used for checks, but is more of a resource stat. So this means we have 24 hit points in total. Moving on to our anima, we have a D4 for power, a D6 for speed, a D12 in defense, and a D10 in range. You also see that we have a D8 for AP, which doubles again to become 16. AP stands for Anima Point, which means that we could use our level 1 ability up to 16 times. And this is going to be a resource. It's not going to be used as a check at all. So we have 4 different stats that we can use for checks and 4 different stats we can use for checks. Now, you can also make a junction check let's say for whatever reason we needed to investigate something from afar using intelligence and range, you can make a junction check minus 1 AP anima point and roll the d4 and d10 together. This increases your chances for the check, but in turn costs 1 anima point in return. And you can also make checks alone with your character as well. So if you just wanted to investigate as is, you could roll the d4. Since it is only a d4, you're probably going to have less chances to actually, succeed on that kind of check. But I have seen it happen before. And that's essentially all we need to do in order to create our level 1 character. As you level up, you will end up increasing these die values depending on what level you are. The max these values can go up to is a d12, so you can absolutely have, HP at a d12, and eventually Dex at a d12, and an Intelligence at a d12. You can also choose to increase your anima as well, and you can increase these values as well. So as time goes on and you level up, you will get stronger and you will be able to make those checks that you wouldn't be able to before. And we'll cover that in another video about leveling up, and thanks for stopping by.